Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for attending. We're excited to welcome Hailey Van Lith to the Chicago Sky. We'll open it up to media questions, starting with Julia.
Hi, Hailey. Welcome to Chicago. I'm Julia Poe with the Chicago Tribune. Just first, kind of starting off, what kind of conversations have you had, if any, with the Sky going into the draft process, and what was that like on draft night?
Yeah, I had a few great conversations. Deep in my heart, I wanted to come to the Sky. I felt like just with the two quick conversations I had, I felt a ton of alignment, and I felt like they saw who I was as a player, and I felt valued. So, I was hoping that I was available when Chicago's picks came, and you never want to put too much expectation or hope because you never know what will happen on draft day. But deep in my heart, I was really hoping that this is where I ended up.
When you talk about them seeing you as a player, what kind of are those aspects of yourself that you felt like fit with the Sky?
Yeah, I think number one, they believed in the parts of my game that they think will translate to the league. And coming out of college, that's always the biggest question for players is people always are talking about whether this will translate or that will translate, or she can be successful at this. And I just felt that they really believed in things that I do well, and not just skill set, but more mindset and personality. They really wanted someone that brought toughness, that was gritty, could fight. And, I like to think that those are character traits that, are displayed when I play. And so, again, I just felt a ton of alignment in what they were looking for and what I feel like I bring to the table. So I was very encouraged after I talked to them, and I couldn't have been more happy when my name was called.
Last one for me. You're coming into a team that has a lot of vets at the guard position.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to with working with them? And have you had the chance to speak with any of them, specifically like Courtney, Ariel, some of those gals?
Yeah, I have spoke to both Courtney and Ariel. I think that I'm most excited because what those vets do really well are things that I'm looking to improve upon or really take advantage of learning from them, particularly with Courtney's overall court vision and the tempo that she plays at. I cannot wait to watch film with her, to just observe her in practices and pick her brain about how she controls games and controls the speed of games and gets her bigs and her shooting guards the ball when they need it to score. So I think that she's one in particular that I'm really, really excited just getting to be around.
Hi, Hailey. Chris with Fox Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
What's the last month been like for you, especially going the Elite Eight run to draft night to today? What's that been like for you?
It has. I was telling someone the other day, it kind of feels like how the Olympics felt. It's like a huge sprint, and there's so many things going on, and you don't really know what's going on. But then when you look back, you're like, wow, that was incredible. It's kind of the same vibe. But I've been just trying my best, especially, when we were in New York for the draft experience, trying to stay present because I only get one of those in my whole career. And I've been trying my best. That I won't lie, there's not a lot of schoolwork getting done right now. Sorry to my professors, but I've just been trying to soak it all in, and because this is really the last little bit that I get to sit back and enjoy before it gets real quick with training camp coming up. So it's been crazy, but it's a blessing to be in this position, and I'm super grateful.
You mentioned the Olympics too, not only the college experiences that you've had, but winning a lot of basketball everywhere. What does that mean, or what can that bring to the WNBA for you?
Yeah, I think my Olympics 3-on-3 experience in particular, just trying out for that team was a huge confidence builder for me, knowing that I was coming to the league next year, because I was trying out against WNBA All-Stars. There was a lot of elite WNBA talent at that tryout, and I proved that I could fit into that roster, and they selected me, like they handpicked me to be on that team. And so that was a huge confidence builder. But also, I think that my role on that team was huge for setting me up for what my rookie season will be like, because we had Ryan Howard, we had De'Erica Hamby, we had people who are very established in the league. And so it was my job to help them be really successful. And when the team needed me to contribute and score and make tough plays, rebound, get stops on defense. So I felt like I really used that experience to learn, okay, this is how I set my big time players up. And then this is where I fit in, where I can steal a layup or I can go one-on-one here because there's spacing. So I think that experience will be very helpful for me going into my rookie year.
Hi, Hailey. Andy Diedrich on your Daily News. Welcome to Chicago again. You were a 5-year starter in college, leader of multiple different teams. This time you're going into a team that has notable roster turnover and a new head coach. What's the transition mentally for you to go from one role to kind of this new role that you're stepping into?
Yeah, I mean, I've been transitioning a lot my last couple years in my career. You know, I'm not new to having to learn a new system and new coaching staff and new teammates. That's one good thing about my unique career is I'm very well experienced with change. So I'm going to approach this change like I've been approaching the last ones and get a feel for what this team needs from me to help be successful and help win games. I think at the end of the day, universally, my mindset going into any team is how can I help this team win? So I'll figure that out very quick, I'm assuming. And I know that the coaches will do their best to help me figure that out as well. And I think I have great vets that are going to be more than willing to help me in every way that they can. So it's obviously hard. Everyone says that the jump from college to the WNBA is way harder than anyone thinks going into it. So I fully expect it to be hard, but I also want to have confidence in the fact that I'm experienced with, new environments.
Yeah, you talk about with those veterans that you've had conversations with, but also at the same time, you get to play with your former teammate, Angel Reese, as well as Camila Cardoso, two college basketball legends. What's exciting about the prospect of getting to play with a young front court that's that big and that talented?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing with size. It makes my job a lot easier. I think, it's a different environment than when I played with Angel the first time, but I think that's all good things. And we're both different players than we were when we played with each other, but again, probably good things. So I can't wait to get to play with Angel and Camila. I've played against Camila a lot of times. I've never got to play with her. So I'm excited to be on the receiving end of that and not have to play against her anymore. But yeah, I think that will add like a youthful flair, some fun energy, and I think it'll be a great time.
Thanks, Hailey.
Hi, Hailey. Congratulations again. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Chicago. Christian Conway, Winsider. So you mentioned that you played with Angel before at LSU, and I know a lot of people want to know, what do you think is going to be the biggest difference between you guys playing at LSU and now playing together on the Chicago Sky?
Yeah, I can't speak to what will necessarily be different with her. I think I can speak to what will be different with me is that the WNBA provides a lot of spacing, and I think that we have a very unique roster where that will be the case when we're on the floor. And anytime that I am able to play in space with very, very talented bigs, very, very talented guards around me, I think, that's when I'm able to do my job best. So I'm really, really looking forward for the chance to play with Angel in this new system and see how it goes. I think that will be, even more impactful than we were when we played with each other in college.
And then just to follow up, what is the best advice you received thus far from Angel or any of the vets to prepare you for training camp?
Ooh. Best advice to be in shape, probably. As long as you're in shape, you can take the bumps and the bruises as they come. But if you're gassed, that's a hard place to be in training camp. So my one goal is to be in the best shape that I can.
Thank you, Hailey.
We'll go to Jason on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hi, Hailey. Jason Leisure with the Chicago Sun-Times. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned needing to be in shape and ready for training camp, which starts soon. How do you do that coming off a season of playing 40 games and not having a lot of time in between to recover?
Yeah, I think another part of my game that my 3-on-3 experience really helps with is knowing how to get yourself in shape and how to stay in shape. 3-on-3 is the ultimate beast of you have to be in shape. And so I've had a lot of experience with preparing to play 3-on-3, and obviously I need to rest and make sure I'm healthy coming off of a long season where we did make a great run. But that's my job as a player to handle and to communicate with the people that are helping me prepare, is let them know when I feel like I'm ready. And at this point, I feel like I'm ready to begin. So I'm going to definitely use my experience with preparing for 3-on-3 to supplement conditioning and combined skill set with conditioning to be at my optimal shape coming into training camp.
Carly Bell on Zoom, please unmute.
Hi, Hailey. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. I know everyone has talked to you about playing with Angel Reese, but obviously, as you've said, you guys have grown exponentially, just in the 2 years. Just when you look back on that time that you did play with Angel, what are things about your game that you have either grown in or expanded that you believe can translate to the W seamlessly?
Yeah, I think number one, the style of play that I've become comfortable with as a point guard has improved a lot. I've really found, especially towards the end of this season, I found a great balance of what playing the point guard looks for me, because I am not a, traditional pass first point guard. That's not how I can help a team best. But I've figured out a balance of how I can be, most efficient, most effective with distributing, facilitating, scoring, pushing tempo, being a leader, all those things that a point guard has to do. I think I'm in a great rhythm and in a great stride of what that looks like for me, for Hailey Van Lith. I don't want to try to copy anyone else that's in the league. But I also, I don't want to try to rewrite the script. I want to be in the middle where I'm learning from people, but I'm also very comfortable with what I bring to the table. So I think just number one, the most that I've grown from my season at LSU is like knowing fully what Hailey Van Lith as a point guard looks like.
And then to kind of follow up on that, we obviously know what you can do offensively, but your defensive game, especially on ball pressure, is something that we really saw this last season at TCU. Defense is something that's really vital in the WNBA. So what are some things that you've just seen in the defensive game in the WNBA that you will either need to grow, expand, or that your defensive game can already bring to this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'm starting to get the hang of, but I need to continue to get better at and grow for the league is just with my size. I am smaller. I need to win the low battle every time. Anytime someone's putting the ball on the floor, anytime someone's going for a pickup, my hands need to be around, making them uncomfortable, trying to get strips, anything to disrupt rhythm. I have to win the low game, whether that's when a big does get a rebound over me and they bring it down for a second, can I tie them up? When someone is coming off a pick and roll and they try to put me in jail, can I get around and pick them from behind on the low side? So continuing to get better at winning the low game is going to be huge for improvement and impactfulness for me in the league. But one thing I think that I'm prepared for on the defensive end already is I'm a physical player. I know how to harness my physicality due to my smaller size. I'm very comfortable with the physical style of play. I think you can see that in how I play in college, and also, with how well my game translates to 3-on-3, just how physical that style of play is. I'm very comfortable in that environment, and I intend to use my physicality to help even things out anytime I'm at a size disadvantage. So that's kind of my defensive approach.
We have time for 2 more on Zoom. We'll go Steven, then Alyssa. 1 apiece, please.
Hey Haley, welcome to Chicago. Stephen Prejean Gardner, CHGO Sports. I have a kind of two-part question for you, so bear with me on it. You bet on yourself going to TCU for your final season. I'm curious, what was it about Mark Campbell's program that prepares you for this specific moment? And then the second part of that, you've credited Derek Grant for the off-the-court work and the mental side of things that you've harnessed coming up in the social media age. Can you speak to the value that that brings for an athlete and having that balance of on the court and off the court mentally?
Yeah. To your first question, I think the biggest thing that, piqued my interest with TCU and Coach Campbell was he runs a pro style offense. He's turned out a lot of pro players that are very successful. Number one being Sabrina Ionescu, who, like me, is not the most athletic person in the room. So I think knowing that he has helped someone exponentially already become successful in the league, I found a lot of confidence in that. And he showed me the blueprint of what they were planning to do with this team and what he thought my role was going to be. That role was a lot of playing point guard. And that's what I knew that I needed. I knew that to be, very impactful and to reach my potential at the next level, I had to become more comfortable at the one than I was at the two. And so I just was really excited for the opportunity that his offense, posed to me of what my role would be. And the players that we had around, we had spacing, I had shooters, I had an elite big who could play in the midi and at the rim. So just the personnel and the offensive structure was the closest I could get to a pro style offense. So that's really what I was super intrigued by with TCU and Coach Campbell. And I think it worked out very well for us. And then moving on to Derek Grant, I think he has been so monumental for my game and me being able to be consistent. I think a lot of athletes ride the highs and the lows that media and social media and the public eye cause us to go through. And that was me for a long time. When I was up here, nobody could tell me nothing and I was hooping. But then the next game, I could be down here and you would have looked at me and thought I was a completely different girl. And I was tired. I was tired of it. I was tired of being inconsistent. I was tired of playing good half the season and then playing well below what I was capable the other half. And so I realized that it was all mental and I needed to work with someone who could help me. I couldn't help myself on my own. I was too young. I didn't have the right perspective yet. And so Derek has helped me become more self-aware, helped me accept myself more, helped me learn to navigate when I feel myself wanting to go into the highs and the lows. So he's been huge for me personally. And I would suggest every athlete, no matter what sport you're in, no matter what age you are, to work with somebody who is like a sports psychologist, because it just, number one, you just get to know yourself more and you learn to appreciate your journey instead of always looking on the outside for what the next thing is. So I highly recommend every young athlete, accepting help to work on the mental side.
Alyssa, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Haley. I'm wondering how you define a good coach and what you're looking for from the Chicago coaching staff at this point in your career.
Oh, how do you find a good coach? For me, I think a good coach is one, somebody who can bring something out of you that you necessarily don't see in yourself. But also, I love to play for mature coaches, for coaches that are also self-aware. For me, somebody who's working on a journey of spirituality and learning who I am and being self-aware, I very much appreciate a coach who also, holds those capabilities. So number one, a great coach is somebody who can win, but who also can get the most potential out of their players to help the team win. And I think what I'm most excited about with the Chicago Sky staff, like I said earlier, is they were already believers in what I brought to the table, and not even necessarily about skill set and all that, but the mindset and who I am, who my DNA is, like who I show up as every day as a person. They were 10 toes behind that from the first conversation we had. And for someone like me who, personal connection and relationships can go a long way, that meant a lot. And they're really excited about their player development. And that's right up my alley too. I love to get in the gym and work hard. And, I really do think that I'm going to get a lot better playing under the Chicago Sky staff. And, that's all I could ask for is an opportunity, an organization that believes in me, but also knows what I can get better at and is going to put all their effort behind getting me there. And so I think it's going to be a great fit. And I really can't wait till I get cleared and am able to get to work with them.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Hailey.
Hailey. Good
Welcome
luck.
again.
I'm good.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Maddy and Aicha will be in just a few moments. Welcome Aicha Coulibaly and Maddy Westbeld to the Chicago Sky. We'll open up to questions for the media. We'll start with Julia Poe.
Hey guys, welcome to Chicago. Julia Poe with the Chicago Tribune. Same thing that I asked Hailey. I was just wondering if both of you could kind of take us through what conversations, if any, you had pre-draft with the Sky, and then just kind of what your draft night experience was like being drafted here.
Yeah, so I had my first conversation with Tyler and Jeff last week, and we had a short Zoom call, but you really felt the energy within the Zoom call, and just how personable they were. Kind of like Hailey said, you didn't really have to prove who you were as a person or who you were as a player. It was like a natural, I believe in you. And that's really all that I could ask for. And I think since then it was just like, I sincerely hope that I get to be a part of an organization who believes in you from the start, and you don't necessarily have to prove that. And so I'm so blessed to be here and so grateful for this opportunity. From draft night, it was a very emotional, very, just exciting opportunity. I was at home with my family. We ended up having kind of a big draft party, so I was able to be in front of my friends, all my family, old high school teammates, just a very full circle moment to be with the people that I love the most. And so for me, it was I couldn't ask for anything better for a night as big as that was to, see my dream come true.
Hi. Just to pick it back up on what she said, I had a couple conversations with some teams, but this was the best conversation I had. And I felt comfortable right away. And just them believing in me because of who I am and what I do on the court, and just watching me throughout the year, I just felt comfortable. I told Jeff, I felt like I've known you for 10 years. The conversation was that good. And I just feel like being around people like that, and that's what brings the best out of me. And I'm so grateful to be here and be part of this franchise. And I'm so glad that I came here, and I can't wait to see what's next. And from the job, I just watch it with my teammates and my coaches. They drag me out of bed, and we just, watch it. It was an amazing feeling. And I'm so glad that I got to do it with the people that are close to me.
I know you're coming off of a knee injury. Can you kind of walk us through where you're at in terms of rehab and what the expectation looks like for you, given that you are kind of in the middle of that process?
The recovery is going really well. I already had surgery, and then just keep working on what I have to do, and just keep the main thing, and stay focused and getting strong, and just working on the thing I need to work on, and just be ready for next season whenever I'm ready to go. And I'm excited for it.
Last one for me, Maddy. Jeff has talked a lot about wanting to kind of bring this different version of kind of like a stretch big into the Sky and have that be a big part of this team's identity. How do you feel like you fit into that with your part of your game?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Me and Jeff have talked a lot about that, and just, my ability to stretch the floor, my ability to be versatile. And so I'm really excited to see my game translate into the league, of, matching players' physicality, but also being able to stretch the floor and, create space for the rest of my teammates. I think that's going to be really important and a really, just great transition for me into this league and, a great way that I can find success.
We'll go to Andy and then Chris.
Hi, Maddy. Hi, Aicha. Andy Diedrich, Honor Daily News. Welcome to Chicago. Maddy, I'll start with you. You're coming off still a great season despite having foot surgery and rehabbing that and everything. Put you in some unfamiliar territory, sitting out of games and actually starting some games off the bench, rather. How have you used that time off and those different experiences positively, and how can you apply it to your game in the pros?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, up to that point, I had never sat out a game ever. And so having that, to start out a season on the sideline, taking care of what I need to take care of, but also understanding that I'm a leader on this team. I was the captain of the team and, it was my team. And so being on the sideline, I was trying to figure out how can I be the best teammate as possible. And so I would sit, watch practice, observe my teammates, see what they do. What do you do when you turn the ball over? How do you run back on defense? And how do you kind of react to that? And so just being very observant and seeing how, how do my teammates react the best and how can I get the best out of them so that when I'm back on the court with them, I can understand them on a better level. And so, I think I was really able to do that. And then, also just enjoy the process. Do not take it for granted, that time to rest and that time to heal mentally, kind of internalize all of the things that I needed to, and, just prepare on every level possible and every angle. So for me, it was definitely a blessing in disguise to be able to rest like that.
All right, thank you. And then Aicha, I'll go to you real quick. These last two seasons at A&M were 2, you're more efficient in terms of scoring and shooting percentage. What have you worked on to make that the case, and how are you planning to also bring that into the pros?
Being at Texas A&M was a blessing for me, and just being around Joni Taylor, they had a vision for me coming in, just having my workouts, the plans and stuff like that. And I just followed the plan and trust and believe. And then, I work on it every single day. I wanted to be more efficient, and we had talked about it, and then being there was a blessing. And when the season came around, I just showed out and do what I have to do and just be there for my team, help the team as much as I can, and just do what I do and not force anything. I just let the game come to me and just stay focused on what I have to do. So that was pretty good for me.
That's all I had. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Chris, then Christian.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Chicago. I'm Chris with Fox Chicago. Maddy, really quick to start. One of the big things that one of the strengths of you as a prospect in the WNBA is someone who could do it all, kind of like the dirty player, kind of getting and doing the things to help the stars and help other players shine. What about that role is something that you were able to take and really just kind of make into you something that was your identity?
Yeah, me and Tyler had a great conversation about this, just being able to bring my physicality and really embrace that. I think that is what is going to translate the best into this league. And I think just, it opens up the door and it opens up the floor for everybody else to, have somebody who they can really rely on no matter what, every day, who's going to come in, who's going to do their work. And, ultimately have their back. So I think for me, exploring, what is going to translate, being such a versatile player, what is going to translate, and, what am I going to lay to rest in college? But I'm really excited to kind of challenge the body work that I created and just, embrace what will be translated. So I'm excited.
And Aicha, we had a chance to ask Joni Taylor kind of about what makes you such a great player. She said you're a two-way player. That's the one of the best two-way players she's been around in. What side of the ball do you pride yourself on the most, offensive or defensive?
I would say defensively, because she put that in me. Even going there, I feel like I pride myself a lot on defense, and that's where I get juiced up to play the game. So just getting stopped for the team and just diving for the ball for loose balls and just doing the little thing, I would sacrifice my body. I really don't care. It's just, it's what it takes to play the game. And playing for Joni, she instilled that in me. And before every single game or after every single game, she'll just before the game, she would give me the best player every single game, and she challenged me every single day in practice, guarding the best player, the scout team. So I just took pride in it and just, enjoy the moment while I do it. And defensively is where I'm best at. And that's what I expect myself to bring to the league and just help this team.
We'll go Christian, second row on your left.
Hi, Maddy, Aicha. Welcome and congratulations on being here. So you guys are both heading into a really tough training camp. There's going to be a lot of players. How do you stay mentally strong and what do you lean on to make sure that you do your best during training camp?
Yeah, I think it all comes from preparation, and being confident in what I bring to the table. I think, the only thing that you can control is yourself and, exactly what you can control. So for me, it's just, making sure that I'm in the best shape possible, making sure that, my body feels good, my mind feels good, and, just being as confident as I truly can be and understanding what I bring to the table.
Same question, yes.
Okay. I feel like it's gonna be physical, but I feel like I'm, whenever it's time, I'm ready to, face the challenge because I'm a very physical player and passionate about the game and just being able to learn from others and at the same time working on myself and just do what I do best and just continue to work hard and play hard as well.
And then just second question is for both of you. Is there any player in the WNBA that you really model your game after and why?
I think I modeled my game after, I love Jackie Young's game. She's strong and defensively she played both ends of the floor. And I watch a lot of her games and stuff like that. I also like Michaela's game from here at Chicago Sky. I think we play very similar and just, learning from her, coming in, learning from her and just doing the best.
For me, I've always watched Bree Stewart. I've always watched Nafisa, and I think just their ability to be efficient when they catch the ball, their ability to be incredibly decisive when they catch the ball, and just stretching the floor and knowing exactly what they're doing on the floor. I think it's I've always watched them and I've always just seen myself in that kind of role. So like Hailey was saying, not necessarily copying any player, but trying to be a sponge and see, what is successful and how can I, kind of mold into what a successful player looks like in this league.
Move to Carly Bell on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hi, Maddy and Aicha. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. First question is going to be for you, Aicha. Obviously, coming into the league is something that provides different challenges for all types of players. And when you play, in the SEC at both Auburn and Texas A&M, you're playing against top 5 talent. What are some things that you have seen in just your career playing in SEC and going against current WNBA players consistently that has given you a lot of confidence heading into training camp and then a possible rookie season with the Sky?
I feel like the SEC is one of the best. It's very physical, and then you play against the best teams. We got South Carolina, LSU, all those teams. I feel like it's always been a challenge for. It was always a good challenge for me, just going in there knowing that I'm playing against ranked teams every single night, and I had to get ready. And I feel like it prepared me a lot, just getting ready for the WNBA and knowing that some of the girls that I played against and they kill me, but especially Coulibaly and Angel Reese. But just getting a chance to play with them as well is gonna keep me away from getting blocked a lot. So I'm pretty excited for it.
And then Maddy, obviously we know what you can do and from a versatile standpoint, but if we want to focus a little bit offensively, you have the ability to score on 3 levels, but it's also your ability to have that mid-range and 3-point shot, which is something the Sky kind of lacked last year. When you look at your offensive game, especially in that mid-range as a stretch forward, what are some things that you believe that you can contribute offensively to the Sky and under a new head coach?
Yeah, we had talked about just the ability to stretch the floor, the ability to be decisive. I know Chicago really likes the ball screen. We talked about, just being able to play off of that, having a point guard like Courtney and Hailey, who is so, ball dominant and able to find, their forwards wherever they need to be. I think my ability to to find wherever open spots are and to be able to hit wherever I catch it. I think that's going to be really, really valuable. And I'm excited to get better in that area and get better in every spot that I can catch the ball.
We'll go to Steven and then Alyssa.
Hey, ladies, welcome to Chicago. Stephen Prejean Gardner of CHGO Sports. My first question is going to be for Maddy. So, of course, you spent a lot of time playing in pick and roll at what people call guard university at Notre Dame. I think what's hidden in that is the screen and the angles that which you all set ball screens with over there that really helps to unlock the guards, but also unlock your spacing ability. Can you just speak to that process and all of the skill development and film watching that goes into understanding screens and understanding how to do it relative to the coverages on ball and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's an art in setting screens. There's an art in, the level that you're at and your ability to get off of screens quickly. Because, ultimately you're setting a screen for the person coming off of it, but also setting yourself up to be open. And so it's definitely an art. And, working on your feet, working on, being available and ready to catch the ball, ready to shoot and attack as quick as you can off the ball screen. And having point guards in Olivia and Hannah, who, they both play at a very different pace coming off ball screens. Hannah is very quick, very kind of immediate in her attack mode. And then Liv is kind of, she has different levels to it. And so being able to play with such versatile point guards, such dynamic speeds, I think it'll be really good for me to just be able to be dynamic coming off the ball screen.
And then for Aicha, you spent a lot of time at the rim, just being able to get downhill almost whenever you wanted to. I think one of the big things that people look at is the footwork that translates or evolves from the collegiate level to the professional level. Can you speak to your development in that over your collegiate career and where you maybe feel like you are once you're back healthy and ready to implement that on the W level?
Yeah, I got tired of getting blocked every single night. So, and I just used to get, my footwork wasn't the best, just shuffling my feet when I catch the ball because my first move is pretty quick. I just, got in the lab when I went to Texas A&M, just work with the coaches. And that's all I did, pivot work every single night. So I think it helped me a lot along the way, just, having counter moves in the paint and just not getting blocked every single night. So that was pretty good, coming to the WNBA, and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a lot of people that are taller than me. And, I just got to know how to have counter moves and just attack them every single night. I think it'll be pretty good for me just while I recover and just work on what I need to work on, just my pivot work and just knowing how to have counter moves in the paint. So I'm pretty excited for that.
We'll close out with Alyssa on Zoom. Last question.
Hi, guys. Nice to meet you. I was hoping you both could reflect on your college basketball seasons that just finished and tell us what you think your college teammates were most proud of you for this season.
Sometimes it doesn't end the way you hope. So I feel like I had a great time with my teammates and all that. It was amazing. Our season wasn't the best, but we came to practice every day, ready to play no matter what, the wins or losses, just keep our head up and just take it a day at a time, like one at a time, moving on. And I feel like my teammates are really proud of me, how I led them throughout before anything happened. I led them the right way and I showed them what it takes to win ball games and just being there for them when they needed a shoulder, somebody to talk to, and just practice everything every day, giving my 100% and just telling them it's okay to have a bad day, but you still got to, do what you have to do and just work hard and keep your head up and just keep going.
Any more from Alyssa?
Oh, I was just hoping Maddy could answer too.
Yeah, I think resilience definitely comes to mind. I feel like I had, like 5 different seasons within this past season, just of, surgery, coming back from that, return to play, getting to play, and then all the highs and lows that come with being on the court. And I think for me, just resilience and consistency, coming in every day, regardless of, the high or the low, and just really getting to work and the mentality that I had coming in every single day. And, you know, the work that I put in, I think that I left Notre Dame in a place better than when I found it. And I take a lot of pride in that. And, you know, the leadership that I had to be able to unify the team that we had. You know, we had amazing players on the team, and it was unfortunate the way that it ended. But at the same time, you know, I wouldn't trade the relationships that I had for the world. And, you know, the growth that we had throughout the season, individually, but then also, you know, the lessons that we learned. So I think resilience is definitely the word that comes to mind.
Thank you both.
Thank you, everyone.